I remind you that your exam is next week. So Tuesday we are going to do a revision session with a makeup exam. So there's no need to ask me about the exam now. Tuesday you have plenty of time to ask about the exam. We are going to have a makeup session and a revision session. Hence I advise you to study for Tuesday because your exam is on Thursday. I don't take office hours on Wednesday. I hope this is clear. You can have them on Tuesday or on Thursday, but not on Wednesday. This is how it is. Okay, so we are doing Descartes, and today we are going to finish with Descartes. Please keep it quiet. Syllabus.
Next Tuesday, not this one after.
Today we are the 18th. Okay, I thought it was 23rd. Thank you. So it's not next Thursday. So it's next Tuesday. Meaning in... okay, it's on the 30th. Okay, we're not the 23rd. Thank you. Okay, so let's continue with Descartes and finish with Descartes. This way you have plenty of time later to revise and read some of Descartes. Okay, so you're saying that really if you want to understand Descartes, and usually if you want to understand philosophy, you have to dramatize it. You have to dramatize philosophy. If you just read philosophy as if it's made of, analytical demonstrations, even though it is made with demonstrations, it's not, you don't get it. It's not that it's not fun. You just don't understand what is going on. If you just take, he said this, okay, we conclude, you don't really understand unless you really live what Descartes is living. You have to go inside his delirium and really experience the world the way he sees it, or else you don't get it. Or else it's a dried, scriptures, and you can understand them like that, but you don't really get it. And you said that really Descartes, if you want, he's a paranoid character. Paranoid people. They always think that it's about them and something wrong is going on and stuff like that. So Descartes, he's a paranoid figure. He's doubting everything, he thinks that his senses betray him and everyone is betraying him, even his thoughts could be betraying him. So you see, he's like super paranoid if you want to turn him into a character. He's really he doesn't trust anything nor anyone, including his sense of thought and formal kind of demonstrative thinking. So this is the character, and we see that this guy called Descartes, he's really looking for something that he can be sure of. He's going to die to get something where he can say, yes, this is the case. Okay? So you see what kind of persona we are dealing with. So now this is Descartes. We've seen how through the first meditation he reached a point where he knows that there's something that exists, not him, something, which is a betrayed creature. And via the second meditation, we have seen that this betrayed creature is the thinking substance, after demonstrating that the body and the soul essence is to be an appearance which is related to thought. I will not do the demonstrations again. So now you know that this first being, which is a betrayed creature, we know that it is the thinking substance. Fine? Now what does this entail? We say, what exists is thought. What does it entail? What exists is the thinking substance, which means when you look at this, is it matter or what? Is it something outside of you or what? Nothing. You remember last time we were here? You remember that? We were here. Anyone? Tuesday?
Yes.
Yeah. Tuesday. Is it a memory? Tuesday. Yeah. So Tuesday, is it a thought? Tuesday.
Yes.
Your memory, something that you get with your mind. Great. Is this chair also a thought for Descartes and his enclosed thinking substance? Yeah, why yes? You can reduce it to what? To appearance. Yeah, you say, I don't really know if there is a chair. I might be hallucinating. Because I'm not sure yet that there is a world outside. I'm not sure of that. What I'm sure of is that I'm a thinking substance, and this could be a hallucination, meaning a product of thought itself. I don't know if you had hallucinations in your life. Hallucinations, you see things, and then you wake up, there's no one. You have a conversation with your friend inside the room, yeah, everything is going fine. Then you turn, there's no one in the room. This is hallucination. Now, did your friend, for you, was he existing? Yeah, he was existing. But then you realize that actually it was a hallucination. So Descartes is saying maybe we are hallucinating. I said last time that the movie The Matrix really pictures this kind of state of constant hallucination. You know, you're in the Matrix. What do you know? You might be in a simulation. Some mean robots are exploiting you for your energetic potential. And actually, you think you are in Beirut having a philosophy class, while all of that is not happening. You could be really inside the dream of someone. It could be inside the dream of a dream of a dream, like an inception. You don't know. So you have absolutely no clue to know if you are really here or actually this is a simulation making another body have his dream while believing that he's here. You don't know. So, what is your problem now? Imagine you're like that. You're really you just prove that you can't be sure of anything, that everything is an appearance, a hallucination. What would be now your first vital problem? What would you like to find? Something that's real. You'd like to find something that can prove to you that there is an outside. It's like the Matrix, literally. How can we get out of this hallucination? Can you find something in these images? Look around you, the sun, the sky, me speaking, a room, AC, all of these things. Does anything prove that these things are happening outside of your head? Maybe you're sleeping now at home, and this is like a very bad dream. So nothing proves that it's happening. Nothing. Is the vividness of the image enough to prove that it's happening? Because you have vivid dreams. So is your tendency to believe that it is happening enough? You are sure of it. Is this enough? No, why not? Why certainty is not enough? You say, I'm sure of it. Come on, it's happening. Usually they are like that. No. If you're sure, is certainty enough? I'm sure that this is a flat floor. Does it make it flat? What is the canonical example? You should memorize it. By now it should be, is the sun moving? Are you sure? Does it look like moving? But is it moving? It's not moving. Okay, the earth, is it flat? Are you sure? And were we sure that it was flat for 500 years? We were. So certainty doesn't mean anything. You can be sure of whatever you want. You can be sure of this and that. It doesn't mean that you know that it is the case to be this and that. So, tendency doesn't work. The third one, the involuntary movement. You say, yeah, I'm sure that it exists because you're not moving my hand. You don't control the images that you see. Is this enough? No, why not? Great, because in a dream you see stuff that seems to be, where you seem to be passive. Well, actually, it's happening. You are producing your own passivity. And the last one is the copy, meaning things seems to look like their memories, but it's not always true, because sometimes things do not look like their images. Okay. So you see, you have a problem. So what Descartes is going to do, he's going to survey all the thoughts that we have. Walking, sleeping, eating, being a chair, being Descartes, whatever you want. And while surveying all of these ideas, he stumbles on one idea, which idea that is suspicious? can you be the one creating this hallucination, the chair table thing? Yeah, why? Because you consider it to be a substance and that it has a color. Can you create accidents? Of course, because you are a substance and accidents are inferior to substance. Is this clear? You know what is an accident? An accident is the blue for the chair. The chair can be blue or white, so blue is an accident for the chair. So you have the capacity to create colors, sounds, and substances because you are a substance. I hope this is clear. Now you have a problem with what? With which idea is a bit weird? Perfect. Why it's a weird idea, perfect? Because are you perfect? If you're doubting, lost, and all of that, are you perfect? No. So you have this idea that it seems that you know perfection. You have it. Like, I want to be good, I want to do good stuff, and if I show you something, you say it's not good enough. So you have this idea of goodness, of perfection. And each time I show you something, you can say, yeah, but it could be better. So it seems that we have an idea of perfection. But the problem is, we need to know if we produce this idea of perfection. I hope it's clear how he proceeds. Now, if you can prove that you produce the idea of perfection, you're done. We live in solipsism, as we say. You are an enclosed thinking hallucination, and there's no more an external world. You can't say there is an external world because everything is a thought. You are in a total idealism. Everything is an idea. I hope this is clear. Solipsism is you are the only one who exists, and idealism, everything exists in the shape of an idea, so you have a solipsistical idealism. Okay? So Descartes considers this idea of perfection, which is what he calls the infinite, because as you know, imperfection is to be limited, and perfection is to be simply unlimited. Perfect means it doesn't lack anything, it doesn't need anything, it's simply unbounded and unlimited. You see, here Descartes introduces a new methodological term. He says, ideas are not copied in the mind, are not effects of something in the mind. Ideas are produced by a power of ideation. They are produced by a thinking power, ideas. And the more complex the idea, the more powerful is the thinking power. Is this clear? You remember that? There's a proportion between the formal cause of the idea and its objective degree. Now, what is the objective degree? Is the complexity. We said Steve Jobs. If you take Steve Jobs, he makes this kind of things when he was alive. Okay? Now, is this a complex design? Yeah, I mean, I can do it. My thinking power in terms of computer engineering is like very basic. Okay, it's good that I can use it. Now, Steve Jobs, he can really look at that, open it, and he can, design a better one. Because Steve Jobs has the power and the skills to design, meaning to produce an idea which is very complex, meaning an idea where you have many things related between each other, such as processor, ventilator, I don't know what you have in this kind of thing, transistors, processors, a screen, stuff like that. He's able to put them together, and it works. Okay? So you see, this is what you call the proportionality between formal causes and the objectivity of the ideas. I hope this is clear. What is the objectivity of an idea? It's the degree of its complexity. As you said last time, a BMW engineer, he can create a car which is very complex. You have combustion, exhaustion, cooling system, AC in it, whatever you want. And he's able to put all of these things together inside the hood, under the hood. Okay. You see, he has a power of designing something. So when you look at an idea, be it, if I now give you the blueprint, the map of a Macintosh, you look at it, you see the circle, you say, okay, this is a very good design. If I give you the blueprint of an airplane, you say, wow, this is really there's a lot of gray matter in it. It's good design, meaning there's a lot of thinking that went into that. So Descartes say, look, we have this idea of the infinite. Fine, it's there. You have it. It's called goodness, perfection, beauty, or whatever you want. All of these are perfections. Yeah? You have this idea of perfection. And Descartes says, you see, as an idea I could have created it, but not as a perfection. I explain. You, analogy, don't get lost. This is an image just to explain to you. Let's suppose you are like a blank paper. Can you receive my scribblings, and can you receive the design of Steve Jobs? Can you receive both? Yeah. So Descartes is saying like that. He's saying, yeah, as a thing on a piece of paper, meaning as an idea, yes, it could be produced by me as an idea. So this is not the part of it which is fascinating. Because me as a thinking substance, what can I produce all the time in all directions? Ideas. Actually, I'm the specialist of doing that. But it's not true that I can produce good ideas. I hope you're getting the difference. A piece of paper, it could be the scribblings of your little brother, and it could be a Leonardo da Vinci. You look at a Leonardo da Vinci, you say, oh my God, this is incredibly well drawn. You look at the scribblings of your little brother, okay, it's not that well drawn. So when you encounter a Da Vinci, you say, there's a very powerful man who passed through here and drew that drawing. Do you get what he's saying? He's saying like that. When I look at this idea, okay, it's in me. The fact that it's in me is not that fascinating. It's like the piece of paper. But when I look at it, what's drawn in it is so fascinating, and I need to know if I am the one, without knowing, with knowing it, I don't know, who'd made that drawing. I hope you're getting what he's saying. Okay? So, this is what you call the problem when it comes to the idea of the infinite. You say, okay, I have this idea of the infinite, it's insane, it's wonderful. I know it. I know that there's always better. There's always more. There's always a perfection. Now, what can you object to Descartes? Descartes is there fascinated. He say, the infinite is incredible. It seems that in me there's this idea of perfection, of infinitude, while you are all finite. If you are an annoying person, what can you tell him? Annoying person means an atheist. Because the perfect is God. I have this idea which is like God in me. What would the atheist tell Descartes? It's infinite. What would he tell him? Yeah, of course, this is the idea of God. What would he tell him? You don't have atheist friends. So are very annoying persons. Huh? There's no perfect idea. Yeah, how can you explain this to Descartes, who is really like mesmerized by this idea, which is he really thinks that this is God put that in him. You know how they are. He thinks it's perfect, and he is imperfect. He tells you, look, it can't be us. What can you tell him? Can you find a way to tell him, no, it's you who created this idea? What do you need in order to create the idea of infinite? It's not that complicated. You know that, no? Someone tells you, God is perfect. What do you reply to him? He's infinite. If you're an atheist, what do you reply? And you are finite. What does he tell you? Yeah?
There's no such thing.
Yes, there's no such thing. But why? They have to give reasons, the atheists too. Nothing? No. Infinite. Could you have made that idea by bringing together two ideas? What is infinite? If you decompose it as an idea, it's what and what? It's not finite. It's not plus finite. So the idea of the infinite could be simply to have. Do you have the idea of the finite? Yeah. Are you finite yet? Is this finite yet? So you have the idea of finite. Do you have the idea of not? Yeah, you have the idea of negation. You say it's not true, it's not red, it's not this, it's not that. No, you say no. Okay, you have the idea of no. So when you put no with finite, what do you get? Not finite, meaning infinite. This is, the atheist. It's language game. You're getting confused. You think that there's infinite, but actually it's simply you who don't realize that you're putting the word no with the word finite, and with two finite words or ideas, you are making the infinite. This gives you infinite. So this is what you call an abstract negation. Maybe the infinite is simply an abstract negation. It's like when you say it's not red. You look at that, you say it's not red. I look at myself, I say I'm not, my opposite is not finite. Okay? I hope this is clear. So can it be that the infinite is an abstract negation? You know, an abstract negation, just for you to get a feel of it, it's a pure word entity. It only exists in words. When I say it's not red, it doesn't change the thing. If I say it's not purple, did anything happen? Can I say it's not a horse? Yeah. So you see, it's a verbal entity. If I say now Caesar is not in the room, does it affect you in any way? You start thinking that it's silly or something like that. But that doesn't do anything to this dimension. No. You see, abstract negation, by definition, they don't do anything. Because they are abstract negations, they are verbal negations, they are just words. It's like when you go in a shop and you say, oh, there's no pizza. There's no pizza, yeah, but you have bread, burgers, you have everything you want, but you think there isn't any pizza. So that doesn't change anything when it comes to the reality, in quote, in this case, the ideational situation. Is this clear? I say it's not black, it didn't change, nothing happened. Now, is it the case with the infinite? Are there ideas who depend on the infinite, meaning perfection, goodness, stuff like that? Are there ideas which are real for you, meaning real, not outside, meaning me, the thinking substance? I consider that this idea is something, it's happening, and actually for it to be, I need the idea of perfection. Can you think of something that you cannot do if you don't have at the horizon the idea that it could be better? Thinking and what? Thinking in general, but what more precisely? You have two things which are thinking, yeah, more precisely. Doubting. Would you doubt anything if you don't know that it could be better? Yeah, I tell you, I give you a piece of information. Why do you doubt? Because you think it's not true. You think it could be better. Yeah, true meaning it's better to be true than false. So if you want to be sure of something, aren't you driven by the desire to find the truth? Meaning to find something better. Of course. So doubt cannot exist without the idea of perfection. You cannot doubt if you don't have this kind of hunch, which is, yeah, but the way they say it is not like, that doesn't sound right. When you say it doesn't sound right, it means that something in you tells you it could be better. And this could be better is perfection. So you can keep on doubting and doubting until you find perfection. If you can. But this idea of perfection is really like triggering the whole movement. So the first one is doubting. We cannot doubt if we don't have the idea of perfection. Doing something for us. Actually, it is really attracting you to doubt and to look for better over and over again. The idea of perfection. Can you desire if you don't have the idea of perfection? Can you desire if you don't have the idea of perfection? No. Anyone? No. When you desire, why do you desire? Why do you don't just sit at home like that and decompose? Because you always want something better. Say, I want to be alive, I want to learn, I want to whatever, travel, get rich, or whatever are your dreams. Meaning you're always in a constant pull towards the better. And you see what Descartes is saying? Descartes is saying, if you don't have the idea of perfection, you would never do anything. Not even wake up from your sleep. You will not come to university. You will not do anything. You will let yourself die. And actually, even those who let themselves die, why do they commit suicide? Because they think that maybe there it's better. Maybe they want a better life. You see, perfection is something that drives you to think and do everything else. Why do you think? Why do you think? Why do you take the time to think before doing something? You wanna buy a car or build a house or study or whatever you want to do. Why do you take the time to think? Because you want to get the best. So as we used to do in the antiquity, All actions are oriented towards the good, all of them. You cannot make an action if you don't consider that it is leading to the good. Of course, sometimes you get astray as to what is the good, but for you, it must be for the good. You cannot act, even when you want to kill someone. What do you think? It's good, at least for me. He should die, whatever is the scenario. Okay, so whatever action you do, you cannot even think it if you don't think it as good, meaning as leading closer to the good. You cannot. You see what Descartes is saying? He's saying they have this thing in you called perfection or the good, which is really like driving all your energy, all your actions, all your thoughts, and all your desires. So it can be an abstract negation. It can be an abstract negation. Abstract negation is like to say Caesar is not in the room, doesn't do anything, or nothing. On the other hand, if you have a desire all the time, this means that there is something, and this desire depends on perfection. Hence, perfection must be a real something. It must be positive and not just an abstract negation. I hope this is clear. Actually, why are you deceived? See now how it's like a level become. Actually, why in the first place you do abstract negations? Why you say, oh, there are no pizzas? You go to a restaurant and say, no pizzas today. Because you wanted pizzas. And if you wanted pizzas, you were driven by what? Is this a desire? Yeah. Hence, you were driven by perfection. Hence, you get abstract negations before the infinite or after the infinite? After the infinite. Actually, you can only do the sentence because there is a God. You wouldn't be able to say that if there isn't a God. You can say, I'm deceived, there are no pizzas, if you didn't have first a desire to have something. So, the abstract negation expresses a deception, and you can't have deceptions if you don't have desires, and you can't have desires if you don't have the idea of the infinite. This is why the idea of the infinite passes the test, meaning it's a positive idea. Fine? You can't say it's just a play on words. You play on words because of the positive idea and not the other way around. I hope this is clear. So this is for the atheist. I hope it's clear. Atheist, the linguist style, they are very popular today. They think everything is language and language game and stuff like that. You can tell them, well, no. To say no, you need God. Okay? Negation is grounded on God, and not God is dependent on negation. So this is the first one. Now let's look at our friends, the yogis. You know, yogis, mystics, and company. Second row. Some say, well, you know what? God is simply the negation, the real negation of who we are. You know the Buddha. Buddha? Yeah. The Buddha, what did he do? He wanted to suspend what? Which circle? You know Buddha. That guy is a statue. Okay. Huh?
What about classes?
He wants to?
He was talking all about classes.
Yeah, this is political Buddha. But the religious Buddha, what does he want to suspend?
Evil.
Huh?
Evil.
Not evil. No, he wants to suspend desire. He says, if you can become desireless, you don't are all the time, wanting, thinking, doing things. If you can suspend the circle of desire, thought, desire, all of these included, you will become eternal, or you will experience eternity. Meaning you will have a touch of God, literally. If you can suspend this kind of never-ending desire, you will reach the nirvana. This is why we do yoga. Why do we do yoga? Because you meditate, and at one point, after 20 years, it must happen. It must happen that your thoughts stop. This is what you call your thoughts stops, mean it's over. You're not anymore thinking, desiring. You know the Sufis. What do they do, the Sufis?
They meditate all the time.
Huh? This classic one.
No, they meditate all the time.
How do they do it? The Sufi. The Dervish. Huh? The Sufi. Dervish. The Turkish one.
Yes.
Okay, this one. Okay, why does he turn? At one point he needs to be like, it's over, no more thought. And if you have no more thought, you have destroyed your finitude, you are in the infinite. So some people think really that you access the infinite by really negating your thought, not abstractly, not language, by a real negation of who you are. It's a very common thing, you know. Negate who you are, go away from the world, stop desiring, suspend your thought, and you will reach this kind of pinnacle of spirituality, which is the spiritual experience. Okay? You know what the Buddhists do when they are still as a Hindu looking for enlightenment, when they are still at level 1, what do? The sadhus. You know the sadhus? They have long hair, they're dirty and stuff like that. What do they do the whole day? They smoke hash. You know, hash. If you smoke like, I don't know, a huge joint, like, really, I don't know how much they smoke, but they smoke a lot. Huh? So if you smoke a lot, what will happen at the end with your intelligence? It will be destroyed. It's over. No more thinking, no more desire, no more anything. It will be floating like a bubble. And this is what we call the access to the divinity. Now, Descartes says, but can it really be the case that you access divinity in intoxication, or in the destruction of your soul, or because you're dizzy because you're turning for half an hour now, or because you are completely confused because you've been repeating the same word for 20 days. This is meditation. You want to do meditation, you repeat or whatever the mantra is that you do, you repeat it. Of course, at the end it's over. You can't think anymore. You feel that something. So, Descartes said, is it true that by destroying your intellectual capacity, you can produce the idea of the infinite? Is it true that by negating, destroying the idea of that your intellectual power, that you can access the idea, this is how you produce the idea of the infinite? Why not?
Because by destroying it, you're making it even further away from the perfect.
Yeah, why? But why not?
Because you cannot destroy it.
Huh?
You cannot destroy it.
That's why I destroy not it. I repeat this here. By destroying my capacity to think, and when I'm almost completely zero thinking, this is when I produce the idea of the infinite. Can it be like that? Like destroying your power to think is what produces the idea of the infinite.
No, because it is through thinking where we can access the idea.
Yeah, but why? Why through thinking you should access it?
Because it's the only infinite.
Huh?
It's the only infinite.
Yeah, but why?
You can't access it.
Why if I intoxicate myself? Let's suppose I drink. I drink 3 liters of whiskey. Can I then conceive the idea of the infinite?
No.
It's very simple. Take it to the BMW engineer. For him to make a good design, should he drink a lot?
No.
No. Why not?
Because you're well aware.
There isn't well aware.
You won't think clear.
You won't think clear. And why is this important to produce an idea?
Because you have to understand and know what you're doing.
No.
Leave the conscious.
No. So please use Descartes. What did we say? Don't tell me because he needs to go to work tomorrow, he needs to take the bus. So why if you're completely stupid, you can't produce a great idea?
Because it's very complex. And
So by which principle? By which rule?
Proportional.
By the rule proportional rule. Okay? There's a proportion between the power to produce and the ideas being produced. This is clear. So you have a proportion rule, use it. So if you are super smart, what do you produce in terms of ideas? Super ideas. If you are super stupid, what do you produce? Super stupid ideas. You see, Descartes, he doesn't like the Buddhist and all of that, mystics, Buddhists, Sufis, he doesn't like them. He doesn't like because he's saying, okay, when you're like that, and there's nothing in your head, actually there's nothing in your head. Doesn't mean that you have reached God, for Descartes. So for Descartes, should you aim at suspending your desires and thoughts? No, actually this is the sign that God is still alive in you. You shouldn't even try. If someone tells you come and retreat in the mountain, you will stop thinking. Tell him, no, it's okay, maybe another time, because I want to think. I want to think. I don't want to become like, cool, there's nothing. Okay. So this is what Descartes is saying. So this is the second attack. Second attack, if you want, it's not the atheists which are linguistically based, it's the mystics, Buddhists, yogis, all of these characters that claim that they know God by literally destroying their mental activities. Descartes says, no, this is not like that. If you destroy your mental activity, you cannot be the one producing this idea. So this idea is not resulting from a kind of negation of who you are really. So the third alternative, which is the last one, the third alternative is what we call the positivists, like those who believe in progress. I hope, Auguste Comte, and those who believe that with science we are getting better every day. With science and human sciences we are getting better every day, and humanity is moving forward. You heard about these two. Okay, what you call progress. What would a progressist think about the idea of the infinite? Is it implemented in us by God, or do humans produce it? How? How they produce it? By evolving. Great. Can't we say that after all, we can observe, like the positives say, look, we were almost like monkeys and without the evolution. Normal positivists, like we were really living in mud and stuff like that, and look, today you have incredible buildings, airplanes, internet, and the world is getting connected. It's wonderful. Okay? So you can think that humanity is moving forward. So we were like finite, and step by step, if you exaggerate that line, where can you get at the end? To the infinite. You see, it's a progressive. So can we say that now the infinite, can we say that it's here already? The infinite? Is it already here? Are we already a perfect humanity, or are we getting it towards it? We're getting there. So is it actually present or potentially present? Potentially. It's not yet here, but we're trying. But if it's potentially present, can a potential yield effects? Can you give me, can a potential, something which is not here, that doesn't exist yet, that only exists vaguely in our imagination, can it yield real effects?
It's exactly like a dream.
Yeah, like a dream, no.
Like if you do something in your dream, it's not going to affect your daily life.
Yeah, but kind of how, you see, okay, fine, but doesn't explain what, as I say, can a potential, because in your dream you can have potentials too, it's not a problem. But can a potential yield real effects? Can you give me an example? Yeah?
Because potential is an idea.
Yeah, it's a vague idea. Can it yield real effects?
The discovery of the example of gravitational waves.
Yeah.
The effect was, the idea was 100 years before, and the effect came after 100 years.
Yeah, but this is not a potential. I explained to you what is a potential. This doesn't matter. You described it, it's something. Does it mean that you created the gravitational wave? I hope you get the difference. So I'll give you an example. If you have wood, can you heat yourself on a piece of wood like that? Is the wood potentially a fire? Yeah, but can you heat yourself with the wood just like that? No. So you can't have real fire unless you burn the wood. Did you get the difference? It's not that I have an idea and it's describing something. We'll get to that later. This is not a potential. Potential means something could be something, like the wood could be fire, but you can't heat yourself with the wood because it can be fire. Okay? In the same way, you can't drink water from the humidity of the air because it could be water. All of these things. So you can only do it if indeed it is the case and not potentially the case. Now, does the idea of the infinite produce real effects? Is it producing real effects? What are the real effects that the idea of the infinite is producing?
Ideas.
Huh?
Ideas.
Is it only ideas? I said it. Desire and what? And doubt. And only these two. What else? Thought. What else? Everything you do. Okay? That was 5 minutes ago. So 5 minutes ago, The idea of the infinite, does it produce, the idea of the infinite is the good. Can you think if you don't think that it's for the sake of the good? Try it. It's not that, it's I don't know. It's not like I'm trying to convince you. Try it. Try to think something without thinking that actually this will lead to something good. Try it. If you don't believe me, try it. Try to do anything or think anything without immediately thinking that this thought is actually bringing you closer to the good. I give you a whole semester to try it. If you can do it once, give me a call and we will talk. Okay? Because it's impossible. Yep. No. No.
Let's say I break this life.
Yeah, you break the life.
What would it bring me anyway?
But why you want to bring? Why you want to
I
bring?
don't have a reason, I just break it.
Just like so, you refuse to give me a reason. It's impossible.
Why not?
So you can't do
Let's say I
something.
get the word out.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
I can't believe you. It's difficult.
What? Give me a reason why
But I tell you, you can't be angry. You can't do it just to annoy.
ending it with anger, just this.
Yeah, it could be. You could be daydreaming.
Daydreaming.
Yeah. There must be a reason, no?
Has a desire to.
So you don't. So you have the desire to annoy me, for example, in this conversation. You could be like, I'm gonna find him a counter example, which means you think that finding a counter example is something good. Or you say, okay, I push this without thinking, but when you think about it, you see that you did it.
But why is it good? That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking about doing it, but why
Yeah.
is something good?
I'm not saying that it is good in itself. I'm saying that you can only think it as good.
But I don't see breaking the lights.
Yeah. But it could be for you could think that it's fun, or that actually you take vengeance. I tell you, if you commit suicide, you can tell that you are doing it. Actually, it's causing you pain. So if you don't enjoy it, you're doing for the sake of the pain. Actually, do you want the pain? So, and if you want the pain, you want it. So for you, the pain is something good. You see, the good is not limited to pleasure or pain. So, masochists, they like to be whipped and hanged on the ceiling and to suffer. For them, this is really great. I'll give you another example. If you take trendy people, they really like to wear ugly clothes. Okay? Really? I've seen some specimens in the EB. You have the beach thing, the beach flip-flop with socks. Okay, so I've never seen that in my youth, so this is new for me, like flip-flop, you don't do it with socks. Okay, it seems that today to have bad taste is something cool. Okay, so I'm trying to tell you is wherever you do somewhere, if you really introspect and not say, I'm an unthinking entity, I just do it like that. If you just do it like that, fine, you're not a thinking entity anymore. But as soon as you associate an idea to what you do, somewhere you will find that you think it's good. Being not trendy, killing yourself, annoying someone, taking vengeance. I'm not saying that these are goods in themselves. But to do them, you think that there must be good somewhere. Did you get the difference? You can take masochists, you can take suicidal people, you can take war. Is war good? War, yeah. It's not good.
But these are other examples where I agree with you.
Yeah, but
In
if...
this case, for example,
Yeah.
I don't see why it can be good.
Which one?
For
Break.
example, breaking something where I don't feel like actually breaking. I just did it without...
Yeah, I tell you, if you tell me I suspended my thought, now I'm acting without thinking, we can't really talk. Because now you're not a thinking substance anymore. And to say that, actually, as we will prove it soon, you must be lying. As we will prove it soon. Because you cannot think, you cannot stop thinking. We will prove it soon. So you can tell me, yeah, I was able to suspend my thought. You tell me that.
Not my thought, but the thought of it being good, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but what is the other thought?
That it's bad, but I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't good.
Enjoyment is not the good. Good means you think that this is what you should do or this is your goal in doing it. Did you get the difference?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a masochist. You know masochist. you cut your feet with knives, and you make yourself really suffer. Can we consider that this is pleasant? It's not pleasant at all. But somewhere in your head, there's a chain of ideas that tells you this is what you should do. Because for many mysterious reasons, you think that this is the good thing to do. Did you get? It's almost impossible to dissociate good from goal. You can. Tell me, yeah, but me, I don't want to do anything. Well, your goal would be not to do anything. You can tell me, I want to act without goals. I tell you, yeah, but your goal would be to act without goals. And as I told you, soon we'll prove that you can't suspend that. This is why I told you that those who make this kind of thought experiment or objection, we know that they didn't prove it yet. If you tell me I can act without thinking, you have to prove that you cannot think. Did you get it? This is why it becomes like a lie or like a thought experiment that runs empty. You see what I mean? So we're getting to proving that you can only do if you think. So I hope you're getting these three notions. And now I hope you are understanding the good more precisely because of the objection of your friend. Okay, I hope you're getting it better now. You see? No worries. I'm saying if you all argue, it's even better. I'm just saying what you did is very good. It's very good because now I hope the notion is more clear. Okay. So to continue on that, you see that we know now for sure that the idea of the good or perfection, is something positive, true and real and in act. I hope now these are clear. It's something that is there, that is doing things to us, like doubting, thinking, moving, all of these things that we do, that it is true and real and that it is in act. And actually, if you want to object to the positivists, those who believe in progress, like we will be better, actually, why is there progress? Is it because the infinite will come or because it is already here? It's like this tricky thing. Actually, why are we progressing? Is it because the infinite is already here or because it will come one day? It's already here. I repeat, why do you do things better? Why do you progress when you do things better? Because you believe that it can be better and the good is pushing you to do it better. I hope this is clear. So you have this clear idea that things can be better, but the idea is here. Things might not be yet conforming to the idea, but the idea is here. It doesn't mean that the idea will come later. Actually, if the idea is not here, you will never make progress, and you never think that we can progress to the infinite. Hope you're getting this difference. So I repeat the difference. I have the idea of the infinite present in me, even if what is around me I don't consider it to be in conformity to the infinite. Hope you get exact. When I look at this classroom, I say, it can be better because I know intuitively that there's something called the better. I wouldn't be able to look at this classroom and say it can be better if I didn't have this conception of something that is better. So you see, progress comes from the infinite and not progress is the result of the infinite. It's the same way negation comes from the infinite as the expression of deception, and it's not itself what creates the infinite. And the last one, to create this idea, you must be infinitely smart, meaning perfect. Is this clear? So did you produce this idea? Are you infinite? First, does this idea exist in you for sure now? Is it something? Yeah. Are you infinite? No. Could you produce this idea? No, because we've seen all the possibilities for you to produce it. It's impossible. So who did produce this idea? Before jumping into God, should he be as perfect as the idea?
Yes.
And if the idea is perfect, is he perfect?
Yes.
Yeah, or more. Either even more, but perfect is perfect, so he's as perfect as that. This is one. So we know that there's an infinite power to create, and this infinite power created this idea. Now, you are thinking substantial and you have the idea of the infinite. So this thing that created you, what should it be?
Infinite.
Before infinite. It should be infinite because of perfection. Should it be thinking too?
Yeah.
Should God be thinking? You are substantial, thinking, and you have the idea of the infinite. So should the one who created you and has put this idea in you, should he be able to create the idea of perfection? Yeah, so he's infinite. But should he be able to think if you think?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be substantial and shouldn't be.
He shouldn't or he should?
Should.
Why he shouldn't?
Because substantial can't create substantial.
Why not?
No.
You can produce as perfect or less. As perfect or less. So God, can he be as substantial? Is he an accident or a substance? You know the difference, accident, substance. Yeah, this is gray, but the substance is wood. Substance is what stands on his own. What stands on his own and what is known first. So, God, should he be substantial? Or can he be substantial? Yeah. Because if he created you, he must be as perfect or more. We don't know of more than substantial. He's substantial. Should he has the capacity to think? Maybe not like you, but the capacity to think. Yeah. So he's the thinking, substantial, infinite substance. Okay? Obviously, he has this power. He has the power to think. He has the power to be substantial, and he's definitely the infinite power. This is why we call him the infinite substance. Good. So this is your creator, which is God. And now we know that there's you. This is you, the thinking substance. Inside you there's this mysterious idea called the infinite. And this infinite, what is it referring to? Who did put that inside you? God. So there must be a God which is also substantial, thinking, and infinite. There must be a God. Now we know that there's someone else in this universe. We are blocked inside our head, and we know that there is someone else. There is someone else. And you see the first other that you encounter is God. The first otherness, the first someone who is not you is God. And you know now that there is a God because of this demonstration. There is someone else. So now we need to know if this someone else created us or if someone else created us. We know that the idea leads to God. The idea of the infinite, we know it tells us there is someone else. It's like when you find a Leonardo inside your bedroom. You say, okay, I didn't do that, someone else did it. So now we know hence that someone else has put this idea in us. Descartes says it's the signature of God inside us. Now we want to know, because Descartes he makes it complex, if this someone else created us. Now, can we be the ones who create ourselves? If we are the substantial thinking and we have the idea of perfection, can we now know for sure that we didn't create ourselves? Maybe the thinking substance didn't auto-generate, as you say, it didn't create itself. How can we know that?
Because we have the idea of perfect.
Great. If you have the idea of perfect, should we be as strong as the perfect?
Yes.
Are we as strong as the perfect? No. So we didn't create ourselves. So we know that we didn't create ourselves. That's good. Did our parents create us as a thinking substance? No. What did they create at best? What? Our body, not the soul, if you consider the soul to be the thinking substance. So our parents maybe created our body. This is still debatable because we didn't prove yet that there are parents. But our parents cannot create us as a thinking substance because we have perfection and our parents are like us, they can create perfection. So it's not our parents. Can it be another God who created us? Maybe it's the devil who created us. What do I mean? The devil creates you thinking substance. you think things and you believe in God, but actually all of that is a trick by the devil. Can it be the devil? The idea of perfection is the devil by definition is not the idea. Could it be another God? What should this other God should be?
No, it can be another God.
It cannot or it can?
It cannot.
Why it cannot?
Because it's only substance.
Before being less fair, the other God should have what?
Substance.
Substance, thinking and perfection. So the other God is who?
That's the God.
Is God. Okay, so it can't be the other God. So we know that our Creator is the God. But can it be that you have God creating Himself, God caused Himself and caused Himself and caused Himself, and then, like an infinite regression of gods? Can you have an infinite regress of God?
But we will come up with the same idea.
It's the same God, but you have duplicates like that. God creates Himself ad infinitum. Can it be this kind of infinite regression?
No.
Why not? Infinite regression means what? It means that if you have an infinite regression, if you read Aristotle, it's an argument which is very popular in philosophy. Can you reach the effect if you have an infinite regress? No, why not?
Because it's
an infinite regress, meaning it goes back and back and back. Do we have an effect?
Yes.
Yeah, who is the effect? Us, the thinking substance. We are here. I am here as a thinking substance. So I'm sure that God is not regressing infinitely. So this is God. So now I know that there's me and God and only me and God. Okay? So there's only me and God, and we are in this kind of relation. He's my creator, and in me He has put this idea of God, which makes me alive. I hope you're getting what He's saying. Actually, without the idea of God, you're not alive, you're dead. Only the idea of God makes you move, think, eat, sleep, all of these things. Yeah.
Didn't you say that we can create something that's equal or less
Yes.
to ourselves?
Yes.
Then why can't God create another God that's equal to Himself?
Why God doesn't create another God? He says that God could duplicate. This is what I was saying with the infinite regress.
It's another infinite.
I can duplicate 3 times. We'll see now why He has to be one soon, one side. But it's clear that it's not an infinite regression. Now we have to consider the case if there are many little gods. I will consider that soon. Which means polytheism. Yeah.
I wanted to say about if we say that there's only one duplicate.
Yeah.
In the same argument, you can say that those 2 duplicates can have other 2 duplicates and so on.
Yeah.
The same argument. So we don't avoid conflict.
Yeah, but what your friend is saying, why don't you say we just have 2 duplicates? Only 2. Like God creates Himself one time, and then He creates a thinking substance. It's a possibility. I'll just leave it here. It's a good objection. I hope it's clear what your friend is saying. But before doing that, maybe the answer will come in when we consider the problem of the polytheism, meaning maybe there are many gods. So I explained that. Maybe you heard about polytheism, what we call Jahiliyyah for Islam, and the Greek gods and the Roman god. What was polytheism? Polytheism used to say, okay, you have the idea of the perfection. Now, do we know that perfection includes many perfections? You know that, so I repeat. You know the 99 names of God in Islam? Okay, He is merciful, the powerful, the knowledgeable, yeah. All the perfections are in God, right? Now, you have 2 options. So maybe this idea of perfection, if you zoom on it, which is made of many perfections, the idea of perfection is made of many perfections, beauty, goodness, wisdom, powerfulness, etc. Maybe each one of these perfections relates to a God. The God of beauty, the God of power, the God of intelligence, the God of whatever, etc. Okay? So it's a possibility that actually, like you used to have Aphrodite, Jupiter, etc., etc., you have many gods each one of them put his signature in you, and actually your idea of perfection is made of this collection of the perfection. Now, is it many gods or one god? Why one?
They all have the same characteristics.
Huh?
They all have the same
This
characteristics.
is the same character. Let's suppose I'm the god of beauty. What do I produce in you? Which idea? Of perfect beauty. So you'll do things and you always look for more beautiful. Okay? Now, if I'm the idea of intelligence, what I will put in you? The idea of perfect intelligence, etc. You see, this God, what does he have in terms of perfection? Which perfection? Beauty. Yeah.
If there were many gods, then who's the god of all?
No, this is not the way we think. Not yet. We think like proportion.
Who's powerful?
Why there must be a most powerful? We need to know. It's not because you see many gods, there must be the boss of the gods. So the idea is, it's like proportion. Okay? I'm sorry for the joke, but you see what I mean. Okay? Which means that it must function by a rule. What is the thinking rule behind that? What is the only rule we're using? What is the method we're using?
Perfection.
Not perfection. There's a rule to solve this problem. Descartes is not just speculating. What is the rule that he's using all the time? Proportion. So by proportion, this God has one perfection. This God has one perfection. But is the unity of perfections a perfection? Is it better to have all the perfections or 10 perfections? All of the perfections. So is the unity of perfection a perfection? Is the unity of perfection a perfection? Yes.
Unity.
So unity. See, to have them all is better than not to have them all. Hence, the God who has the unity of perfections, is he more perfect than the others or less perfect? More perfect than the others. So this is why there must be a one God, because only a one God can have the unity of perfections, while all the other gods only have one perfection. I can repeat. Okay? So I will repeat. You see here, what is the problem? It's problem if you have many gods, each God will implement one perfection. But you also have the idea of the unity of perfection. Now, can this God have the idea? Can this God be the one producing the idea of the unity of perfection?
No.
No. Why not? Why a God, let's say the God of beauty, can be the one producing the idea of the unity of perfection?
Perfection when it comes to beauty.
Yeah, so why cannot produce the perfection of you cannot produce the perfection unity of
It's
perfection?
not proportional.
It's not proportional. You see why polytheism doesn't work? Okay, if I'm the God of beauty, why I'm unable to produce the unity of perfection? Because to produce that, should I have the unity of perfection? Yeah. And only if I have the unity of perfection, I can do that. Who has the unity of all perfection? It's the God who has all of them, meaning the one God. While all the others have one perfection each, so they cannot produce the unity of perfection. This is why this option is excluded. So you have one God, which is your creator. Okay? So to conclude, maybe there's a scenario where you have many gods, and each one of them put in you a perfection, and you unify the perfection. Can it be like that?
Means that we have the capacity to be equal.
Not to be, just to collect the perfections. Each God, let's say, the God of beauty puts in you the idea of beauty, the other God puts in you this, that idea, and you just collect them. Can it be the case?
This capacity doesn't have to come from.
The capacity to collect, no. It's like when I collect the ideas I have, table, chair, phone, I put them together. In my mind I have beauty, power, wisdom. I collect them together. Now there's a problem. If you collect, when you collect, do you know what you collect? Yes, I do a chair, table, phone, I collect and I know what I collect. Do you know all the perfections of God? Can you number them for sure and say, he has 100 perfection? God has how many perfections? Infinite. Do you know the infinite names of God? Let's say if you're lucky, you know 100. I would say 99 usually, not to offend anyone, meaning you can know that limit. Okay? So, if you are the one unifying the perfections, shouldn't you know all the perfections? You should. Do you know all the perfections? You don't. So you're not the one unifying the perfection. So we know now that polytheism doesn't work in both versions. Meaning, if you have many gods, none of these gods can produce the unity of perfection. And if these many gods have implemented in you each an idea, you won't be the one doing the synthesis because you would have to know all the perfections of God and you don't know all the perfections of God. Is this clear? So now at least we know for sure two good things. One, well, God is your creator, He's perfect, thinking, substantial, and you are His creature, and hence you are the perfect creature. You're not the perfect substance, you're the perfect thing we can create. There's a difference. God created, because He's a perfect creator, what would He create for sure? He's a perfect creature.
But can't he create the perfect?
Huh?
His question.
The duplicates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't he create another one?
He can duplicate himself. He can duplicate himself.
He can't create.
Huh?
It doesn't mean creating.
He can duplicate himself, but this is not the creature.
Oh, okay.
The creature has this configuration. It's not itself perfection, it has the idea of perfection. Okay? So God creates you, as you say, to His image. What does He create? He doesn't create you perfect like Him, but He creates you with the idea of perfection, so you're all the time filled with this never-ending desire for God. Actually, living, breathing, walking, thinking is simply the desire for God. Even loving someone is the desire for God. So this is how God creates you to His image, and you are the perfect creature. Now, as to this objection, which is thorny and it's not so, God duplicates Himself is theoretically useless. It's a possibility, but we don't see how it changes anything. So if God is God duplicating Himself, okay. Spinoza will deal with that, don't worry. You say, no, he can't duplicate himself, he must be one absolute. We will see. But Descartes didn't confront that because for him, theoretically speaking, if you have duplicates of God and one creature, well, it's the same. Let's say it's one God and one creature. Because it's a duplicate of God Himself. As you see with Spinoza, you have to prove that God cannot be numbered, hence one is not a number to prove that God cannot duplicate Himself. This is true. For the duplication. So God creates a perfect creature. What can you object? Obviously. Do you think you're perfect? It's a perfect creature. What can you object? You feel that you're perfect. What do we do usually?
Each one has a port, not everything.
We were talking about the thinking substance. We are thinking people. What do we usually do? Do we do mistakes? Yeah. So when you do mistakes, does this mean that you are perfect as a creature?
No.
Why? No or yes? What is a mistake? Let's suppose you say, it's a rectangle and it appears to be purple. What is a mistake?
It's the way we perceive things.
Is it the way you perceive things?
Our senses.
Is it your senses? Yeah. The mistake is always on the border, on the relation between what you say and what you see. It's never what you see, it's never what you say. So usually you make a mistake when you say something too quickly about what you see, and then you realize that it was not what you have or what you should have said. So to make a mistake, you should be free, and you should be perceiving, and you should be able to think. Let's suppose you make a computer that never makes mistakes. Is he better than you, or are you better? You make a robot that always has a laser and he only makes judgments in relation to the detection of his laser. Is he better than you or are you better?
No.
What does this robot lack?
Consciousness.
Not consciousness.
Thinking.
Huh? Okay, but in our case, the example of the robot is that he likes what? Let's take the stone. You kick the stone, does it make mistakes? You know, it rolls as it should go. Why it doesn't make mistakes?
It's not free.
Yeah. It's not thinking, but in this case, what is it? Why are you better than a robot or a stone? Huh? Why are you better than a cat? A cat is also living, but it doesn't make mistakes.
We're free to do it.
You are free, thank you. See, to make mistake, you have to be free. Meaning you have to have the capacity to make any judgment on anything as you wish. While a programmed computer, is he free?
No.
Let's suppose you are a robot. Now we only say the things that we have to say after checking exactly what they are. Are we still free if we are forced to do that? No. But Descartes says, the perfect. Yeah.
Why isn't the cat free?
Huh?
Why isn't the cat free?
Because a cat for Descartes is like a robot, meaning it functions on stimulation. You tell her food, it goes towards food, and it doesn't judge the world. It doesn't take, it doesn't improvise for Descartes. It's always guided by stimulation. But we can have a stimulation. We can say, okay, I don't care. I judge it differently. I have this thought for that, and you have this freedom of mixing together your sentences with what you see. A cat, a stone, for Descartes, they always do what they have to do. They are like programs. It's like your computer. They always do, you tell them input, output, and that's it. Right? So Descartes says to make mistake, you have to be free. Hence, God, the perfect creator, did indeed create the perfect creature. So now our problem is solved. Why? We'll continue next time, but just to tell you that now we are out of the matrix. How? When you have a thought that there is matter, when I'm touching this chair, and this is a clear thought, I'm the creature of God. Can God be betraying me when it comes to my clear thoughts? Can He be betraying me now? God, if He's perfect, can He betray?
Yes.
Can He betray if He's perfect? Can He be mean and malicious if He's perfect? No. So now you know that when you touch the chair, even if this is a thought, there is a chair. Okay? This is why you need God to do science. When Einstein scribbles in his room, why does it work? I still have 30 seconds. Why does it work? Einstein, we said, he scribbles in his room thoughts. And then you have the gravitational waves 100 years later. Why they fit together? Why clear thoughts are always the case? Who guarantees the equation? God. Because God guarantees that whatever you think now does correspond to the extended matter. Whatever you think is under the guarantee of God. This is why modern science is a religious kind of science, at least for Descartes, meaning there's a kind of religious presupposition that, yes, what we think will be the case. There's a belief in that, and this is the place of God.